In a distant corner of the galaxy lies a planet shrouded in chaos, where nature itself has become the ultimate predator. A team of explorers, stranded and desperate, must face an unrelenting storm that defies all logic. As they fight for survival against hurricanes, blizzards, and infernos, they uncover secrets buried beneath the planet's surface, secrets that could save them or doom humanity forever. Can they find sanctuary in this world of endless fury? Or will the Tempest claim them all? Dive into Surviving the Eternal Storm, The Last Refuge, the sci-fi thriller you won't forget. Hit subscribe now to follow their journey through hell. The ship came to rest with a jarring thud, its hull groaning as if it too had endured enough. The crash site was desolate, a barren expanse of cracked earth stretching toward horizons obscured by roiling clouds. This was not the lush paradise the mission briefs had promised. Instead, it was a hostile wasteland ruled by capricious forces beyond comprehension. The crew emerged cautiously, their boots crunching over jagged shards of rock scattered across the ground like broken teeth. They scanned their surroundings, sensors flickering erratically due to interference from the planet's volatile atmosphere. Already, the wind began to howl, carrying with it a biting chill that seeped through even their advanced thermal suits. Each step forward felt heavier than the last, weighed down by both gravity and dread. Overhead, the sky churned ominously, shifting colors from deep gray to fiery orange within moments. It was unlike anything any of them had encountered before, a living entity whose moods changed without warning. Lightning arced between distant thunderheads, illuminating vast canyons carved into the landscape by eons of unchecked storms. The air smelled metallic, tinged with something acrid that burned at the back of their throats. Every instinct screamed at them to retreat, but there was nowhere else to go. Their vessel lay crippled behind them, its systems failing faster than anticipated. Stranded on this alien world, they knew survival depended on finding shelter, and fast. The initial hours after landing were consumed by frantic activity. Equipment was salvaged from the wreckage, though much of it was damaged beyond repair. Portable scanners were deployed, attempting to map the surrounding terrain despite the constant electromagnetic interference. The data they gathered painted a grim picture. Temperatures fluctuated wildly, from scorching heat during brief periods of sunlight to freezing cold when the clouds thickened. Rain fell sporadically, sometimes gentle and mist-like, other times torrential and accompanied by hailstones large enough to crack the reinforced visors of their suits. The planet seemed to be testing them, probing their weaknesses with relentless ferocity. As the first hints of twilight, or what passed for twilight on this world, began to creep over the horizon, the crew huddled together, sharing ration packs and discussing their options. Morale was low, but determination burned brightly in their eyes. They had trained for countless scenarios, but nothing could have prepared them for this. The unpredictability of the environment made planning difficult, if not impossible. Yet, amidst the chaos, one thing remained clear: they needed to find shelter before the next storm hit. And so, with heavy hearts and weary bodies, they set out into the unknown, guided only by their instincts and the faint hope that somewhere, somehow, they might find refuge. As the first storm approached, the crew moved quickly, driven by adrenaline and fear. The horizon blurred into motion as walls of sand surged toward them, propelled by winds strong enough to tear flesh from bone. Visibility dropped to mere meters, forcing them to rely on their visors and enhanced imaging systems. But even technology faltered here, overwhelmed by the sheer ferocity of the environment. One member stumbled, catching themselves just in time to avoid being swept away. The others grabbed hold of each other, forming a human chain anchored by sheer determination. Progress slowed to a crawl, every movement an act of defiance against the planet's wrath. Through the chaos, one thing became clear: staying out in the open meant certain death. Scans revealed what might be caves ahead, nestled within the jagged cliffs rising abruptly from the plains. These formations offered hope, a chance to escape the relentless assault above. Yet reaching them proved harder than expected. The ground quaked unpredictably, fissures splitting apart beneath their feet as though the planet sought to swallow them whole. Still, they pressed on, guided by desperation and the faint promise of safety. When they finally reached the mouth of a cavern, relief washed over them, but only briefly. Inside, shadows danced unnaturally, hinting at dangers unknown. For now, though, it was refuge enough. The interior of the cave was damp and cold, the air thick with the scent of mold and mineral deposits. The crew activated their headlamps, beams of light cutting through the oppressive darkness. Stalactites hung menacingly above, glistening wetly in the artificial glow. Moisture clung to everything, making surfaces slick and treacherous. Despite these hazards, the decision was unanimous: they would explore further. Shelter alone wasn't enough. They needed resources, answers, and perhaps most importantly, a way off this cursed rock. Their footsteps echoed loudly, reverberating through the narrow passages. Strange markings adorned some of the walls, patterns too deliberate to be natural. Were they remnants of an ancient civilization, or merely geological anomalies? No one dared speculate aloud. Instead, they focused on mapping the area, marking potential routes and dead ends. Supplies dwindled alarmingly fast. Ration packs were torn open and consumed with urgency born of exhaustion. Sleep came fitfully, interrupted by distant rumblings that shook the very foundation of their makeshift camp. Dreams turned to nightmares, visions of endless storms chasing them through endless corridors. Inside the cave, the cacophony outside faded slightly, replaced by an eerie silence punctuated only by dripping water echoing off unseen walls. The crew activated portable lights, casting beams that revealed a labyrinthine network of tunnels twisting deeper into the planet's core. Stalactites hung menacingly above, glistening wetly in the artificial glow. Moisture clung to everything, making surfaces slick and treacherous. Despite these hazards, the decision was unanimous. They would explore further. Shelter alone wasn't enough. They needed resources, answers, and perhaps most importantly, a way off this cursed rock. Their footsteps echoed loudly, reverberating through the narrow passages. Strange markings adorned some of the walls, patterns too deliberate to be natural. Were they remnants of an ancient civilization, or merely geological anomalies? No one dared speculate aloud. Instead, they focused on mapping the area, marking potential routes and dead ends. Supplies dwindled alarmingly fast. Ration packs were torn open and consumed with urgency born of exhaustion. Sleep came fitfully, interrupted by distant rumblings that shook the very foundation of their makeshift camp. Dreams turned to nightmares, visions of endless storms chasing them through endless corridors. The deeper they ventured, the more the environment seemed to shift. The air grew colder, almost unbearably so, and the walls of the tunnel began to shimmer faintly, as though coated in some kind of crystalline substance. At first glance, it appeared beautiful, but closer inspection revealed sharp edges and jagged protrusions that could easily cut through their suits if they weren't careful. The crew moved cautiously, their movements deliberate and measured. Every step forward felt like a gamble, a test of their resolve and their ability to adapt to the ever-changing conditions around them. Despite the challenges, they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that turning back was not an option. The cave system seemed to stretch endlessly, branching off in multiple directions. Some paths led to dead ends, while others opened into larger chambers filled with strange formations that defied explanation. In one such chamber, they discovered a pool of liquid that glowed faintly, its surface rippling gently despite the absence of any visible current. The light it emitted was soft and inviting, but the crew hesitated to approach too closely. Something about it felt wrong, as though it were alive and watching them with an intelligence they couldn't comprehend. Days bled into nights, or what passed for night on this perpetually turbulent world. Time lost meaning as they delved deeper into the caves, searching for anything that could aid their survival. Resources grew scarcer with each passing hour, forcing difficult decisions about who received rations and when. Tension simmered below the surface, threatening to boil over at any moment. Yet amidst the strain, moments of camaraderie emerged. Shared glances spoke volumes, acknowledging the unspoken bond forged through adversity. Together, they faced challenges none could have overcome alone. One discovery stood out among the rest, a vein of crystalline material embedded in the rock wall. Its structure suggested high-energy conductivity, possibly useful for repairing damaged equipment. Excitement rippled through the group, tempered by caution. Extracting it required precision tools and steady hands, neither of which were abundant given their current state. Still, they worked tirelessly, chipping away at the surrounding stone until the precious mineral lay exposed. Success brought fleeting triumph, a reminder that progress, no matter how small, mattered greatly when survival hung precariously in the balance. As they continued their exploration, the crew began to notice subtle changes in the cave's ecosystem. Patches of bioluminescent fungi dotted the walls, casting an eerie glow that illuminated their path. The fungi pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat, creating an unsettling ambience that made it difficult to focus. Some members of the crew speculated that the fungi might be connected to the planet's erratic weather patterns, perhaps even serving as a kind of early warning system for incoming storms. Others dismissed the idea as fanciful thinking, but the possibility lingered in the back of their minds, fueling their curiosity and driving them deeper into the labyrinth. Venturing further into the depths of the caverns, the explorers encountered phenomena increasingly bizarre and unsettling. Bioluminescent fungi carpeted sections of the tunnel floor, casting ghostly hues that danced along the damp walls. Some patches pulsed rhythmically, almost mimicking heartbeats, creating an illusion of life in the otherwise lifeless expanse. These organisms emitted faint whispers audible only when silence reigned supreme, adding to the surreal ambience cloaking their journey. Intrigued yet wary, the team documented their findings meticulously, hoping such data might unlock clues essential for escaping this volatile domain. However, curiosity often carried risks unforeseen. During one exploration stint, a sudden tremor caused part of the ceiling to collapse, sealing off a critical passage. Panic surged momentarily before reason prevailed, prompting swift action to circumvent the blockage. Tools clanged against rock, muscles strained under exertion, but persistence paid dividends. Eventually, an alternate route emerged, albeit narrower and more precarious than the original path. Progress continued haltingly, fraught with perils lurking around every bend, testing resolve and resilience alike. The tremors grew more frequent as they moved deeper, shaking loose rocks and sending cascades of dust raining down upon them. Each quake served as a stark reminder of the planet's instability, reinforcing the urgency of their mission. Supplies dwindled further, forcing them to ration even more strictly. Fatigue settled heavily on their shoulders, weighing them down physically and mentally. Yet, despite the mounting challenges, they refused to give up. Every step forward was a testament to their determination, a refusal to let the planet claim them without a fight. Deeper still, the cavern widened unexpectedly, revealing a colossal chamber bathed in ethereal luminescence emanating from clusters of oversized crystals protruding from the cavern roof. Their brilliance illuminated intricate carvings etched onto massive stone pillars scattered throughout the space. Symbols reminiscent of constellations adorned these monoliths, hinting at celestial navigation techniques long abandoned by civilizations past. Here, history intertwined with mystery, whispering tales of those who once called this tumultuous realm home. Amidst awe-inspiring beauty lay practical considerations. Could these structures provide better shelter? Might they harbor technological remnants capable of aiding escape efforts? Questions abounded, fueling cautious optimism tempered by lingering uncertainty. Examination commenced methodically, mapping layouts and assessing structural integrity. Meanwhile, environmental readings indicated stable conditions within the chamber, a rare reprieve amid ceaseless turmoil above ground. Perhaps fate smiled kindly upon weary travelers seeking solace amidst chaos. The carvings on the pillars fascinated the crew, drawing their attention like moths to a flame. Each symbol seemed to tell a story, though deciphering their meaning proved challenging. Some depicted celestial bodies orbiting a central star, while others showed abstract shapes that could represent weather patterns or geological formations. The crew spent hours poring over the engravings, sketching diagrams and taking notes in the hopes of unlocking their secrets. It was slow, painstaking work, but the potential payoff was immense. If they could understand the language of this ancient civilization, they might gain insights into the planet's behavior and perhaps even find a way to control it. Settling temporarily within the Grand Chamber offered respite sorely needed after relentless trials endured thus far. Restorative sleep claimed exhausted bodies, dreams weaving narratives infused with newfound tranquility. Yet peace remained fragile, shattered intermittently by echoes resonating through subterranean channels. Sounds reminiscent of distant thunder reverberated ominously, reminding occupants constantly of peril awaiting beyond protective confines. Exploration resumed post-recovery, focusing primarily on deciphering enigmatic glyphs adorning pillar surfaces. Hypotheses proliferated regarding intended meanings, maps detailing safe zones, warnings foretelling impending doom, or perhaps instructions guiding construction of devices harnessing ambient energies permeating surroundings. Regardless of interpretation, consensus held firm. Unlocking secrets concealed herein constituted paramount priority moving forward. Patience paired with perseverance yielded incremental breakthroughs, gradually assembling puzzle pieces comprising larger picture eluding grasp initially. The crew experimented with different methods of analysis, using handheld scanners and chemical reagents to test the composition of the carvings. Some symbols reacted to specific wavelengths of light, glowing faintly when exposed to ultraviolet radiation. Others responded to magnetic fields, shifting slightly as though aligning themselves with invisible forces. These discoveries fueled excitement and speculation, though definitive answers remained elusive. Still, the crew persisted, driven by the belief that understanding these symbols was key to their survival and possibly their salvation. Breakthroughs catalyzed renewed vigor, propelling endeavors forthwith. Deciphered symbols revealed coordinates corresponding roughly to regions explored previously during initial reconnaissance missions. Revisiting locales armed with fresh insights promised revelation potentially transformative. Thus equipped, expeditionary forces embarked anew, retracing steps imbued freshly with purposeful intent. Terrain traversed earlier assumed altered significance viewed through lens clarified partially via cryptic guidance gleaned laboriously. The journey back to the designated coordinates was fraught with challenges that tested their resolve once more. The landscape had shifted subtly since their last passage, fissures had widened, rivers of molten rock now coursed where solid ground once stood, and the ever-present storm seemed angrier than before. Each step forward required careful navigation, as the crew relied on both their instruments and instincts to avoid disaster. The weight of expectation hung heavy in the air. They knew this could be their final chance to unlock the secrets of the planet and secure their escape. Upon arrival at the designated site, scrutiny intensified exponentially. Features formerly overlooked gained prominence suddenly, scrutinized rigorously for relevance concealed cleverly. Among discoveries notable stood peculiar arrangement stones resembling rudimentary antenna array. Activating dormant mechanism required alignment precise dictated carefully according patterns memorized painstakingly. Efforts culminated success spectacular witnessed first-hand emergence signal broadcasting powerfully skyward. Hope soared heights unprecedented, buoyed anticipation rescue imminent facilitated technological marvel unearthed miraculously. The process of activating the ancient device was painstaking and nerve-wracking. One wrong move could trigger a catastrophic reaction or worse, nothing at all. Yet, guided by the carvings they had studied so meticulously, the crew worked together with precision born of desperation. Each adjustment brought them closer to their goal, until finally, the structure hummed to life. A beam of energy shot skyward, piercing through the thick clouds above. It was a beacon, a call for help broadcast across the stars. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, hope flickered brightly within each member of the crew. But even as they celebrated this monumental achievement, doubts lingered. Would anyone receive the signal? And if they did, how long would it take for rescue to arrive? The planet showed no signs of mercy, its storms raging with renewed intensity as though angered by their defiance. Sheltering near the activated device, the crew braced themselves for whatever came next, clinging to the fragile lifeline they had created. Signal transmission sparked reactions immediate profound amongst stranded souls yearning deliverance desperately. Anticipation mingled anxiety gripped hearts collectively, oscillating wildly betwixt jubilation perspective salvation drawing near versus apprehension potential failure looming ominously. Hours morphed tortuously slow dragging interminably whilst vigil maintained vigilant monitoring responses anticipated eagerly. Silence reigning supremely exacerbated tension mounting palpably, suffocating atmosphere thickening progressively unbearable. The hours following the activation of the beacon were among the longest of their lives. Every sound, the distant rumble of thunder, the hiss of wind whipping through the caverns, was magnified tenfold in their heightened state of awareness. They huddled close to the device, scanning the skies for any sign of response. Portable scanners buzzed intermittently, picking up faint traces of activity beyond the planet's turbulent atmosphere, but nothing definitive. Time stretched endlessly, each minute feeling like an hour, each hour like a day. Unexpectedly, communication established contact external source unidentified origin. Voices crackled static-laden conveying messages garbled partially intelligible nonetheless electrifying spirits flagging previously. Confirmation receipt distress beacon acknowledged followed assurances assistance dispatched promptly. Relief flooded overwhelmingly, tears shed openly unashamed testament emotional roller coaster endured valiantly. Celebration erupted spontaneously, laughter mingling joyously amidst embraces heartfelt, overflowing gratitude boundless. Unity reinforced indelibly, bonds strengthened immeasurably shared ordeal transcending individual egos merging collective identity cohesive singular. The voice on the other end of the transmission was barely audible, distorted by interference and distance, but the message was clear, help was coming. Instructions were relayed hastily, stay near the beacon, conserve resources, and prepare for extraction within 48 standard hours. Those 2 days felt like both an eternity and a blink of an eye. The crew alternated between moments of elation and crippling anxiety, knowing that survival wasn't guaranteed until they were safely aboard the rescue vessel. Still, the knowledge that they weren't alone anymore sustained them, giving them strength to endure the planet's final assault. Preparations commenced earnestly anticipating imminent arrival rescuers heralding and harrowing odyssey traversed courageously. Inventory conducted thoroughly, ensuring necessities packed efficiently, minimizing weight burdensome. Equipment salvaged, scavenged meticulously, piecing together fragments functional amidst debris scattered, aftermath calamitous to sin initial. Final checks performed rigorously, verifying functionality, critical apparatus sustaining life support systems operational optimally. Every item salvaged from their crashed ship was scrutinized for usefulness. Broken tools were dismantled for parts, ration packs were repackaged to maximize efficiency, and personal belongings were left behind without hesitation. The crew understood that every ounce of weight mattered when it came to escaping the planet's gravity well. Their focus was razor-sharp, driven by the knowledge that failure to prepare adequately could mean leaving someone behind, or worse, jeopardizing the entire rescue operation. As they waited, the planet continued its relentless assault. Storms raged around them, lightning striking perilously close to their position. The beacon remained active, its steady hum a constant reminder of their lifeline to salvation. Despite the chaos surrounding them, the crew found solace in routine. Tasks were divided evenly, ensuring everyone had a role to play. Some monitored the beacon and scanned for incoming ships, while others fortified their makeshift shelter against the elements. Even in the face of uncertainty, their unity never wavered. Emotions ran high, final hours awaiting extraction point rendezvous scheduled, coordinate predetermined. Nervous energy buzzed palpably amongst ranks assembled, poised, departure imminent. Reflections surfaced, contemplating journey, traversed obstacles, surmounted resilience, demonstrated unwavering, facing adversities insurmountable seemingly. Gratitude expressed silently, internally acknowledging fortitude exhibited collectively, enabling survival, improbable circumstances extraordinary. Moments preceding arrival, rescuers brimmed anticipation, electric charged atmosphere, buzzing excitement palpable. Horizon distant speck approaching rapidly, resolving silhouette, familiar spacecraft descending gracefully, trajectory calculated precisely, pinpoint location exact. Cheers erupted, spontaneous, breaking silence maintained vigilantly, hours preceding culmination, efforts tireless, perseverance steadfast. Tears streamed freely, uncontainable emotion overwhelming, floodgates breached, finally witnessing culmination, endeavor monumental, undertaken valiantly. The sight of the rescue craft breaking through the planet's stormy atmosphere was surreal. Its sleek form descended steadily, defying the chaos below with practiced ease. As it landed, the crew rushed toward it, their weary bodies moving with renewed vigor. The ramp extended, revealing figures clad in pristine uniforms, a stark contrast to the battered and weathered appearance of the stranded explorers. Words were exchanged briefly, formalities observed, but the urgency of the situation demanded haste. Rescue craft touched ground gently, deploying ramp, extending invitation, welcomed warmly, embraced, safety assured definitively. Crew boarded hurriedly, relief washing visibly, faces etched, fatigue accumulated, enduring hardships endured valiantly. Farewells exchanged quietly, solemnly acknowledging sacrifices made, silently contributions invaluable rendered collectively, ensuring survival, improbable odds conquered ultimately. Climbing aboard the rescue vessel felt like stepping into another world. The air was clean and breathable, free of the metallic tang that had permeated their suits for so long. Seats were soft, offering comfort unimaginable after weeks of sleeping on hard rock. As the ship ascended, leaving the tumultuous planet behind, the crew stared out the windows, watching the swirling storms fade into the distance. It was over. They had survived. Departure marked transition, profound, leaving behind realm, tumultuous chaos, embracing prospect, return, civilization, familiar comforts awaited anxiously. Journey homeward commenced smoothly, spacecraft ascending gracefully, piercing atmosphere, turbulent, transitioning, serenity, space, enveloping, embrace, tranquil. Reflections surfaced, contemplating experiences endured, lessons learned invaluable, shaping perspectives, profoundly altering perceptions irrevocably. The journey home was quiet compared to the chaos they had endured. Conversations flowed freely, memories shared openly as the crew processed everything they had been through. Laughter mixed with tears as they recounted moments of triumph and despair, each story reinforcing the bond they had formed. They spoke of the planet, their adversary turned teacher, and marveled at its complexity. Though it had nearly claimed their lives, it had also taught them resilience, adaptability, and the true meaning of teamwork. Conversations exchanged animatedly, recounting anecdotes, humorous, poignant moments, defining journey unforgettable. Bonds forged, strengthened, immeasurably shared adversity, uniting individuals, disparate backgrounds, converging purpose, singular, overcoming challenges, insurmountable seemingly. Gratitude expressed, openly acknowledging contributions invaluable rendered, collectively ensuring survival, improbable odds conquered ultimately. As they approached their home planet, the crew reflected on how much they had changed. What had started as a mission of exploration had become a test of endurance and willpower. They returned not just as survivors, but as storytellers bearing tales of courage and camaraderie. Their journey would inspire generations to come, a testament to humanity's ability to persevere against all odds. Landing home marked beginning chapter. New lives shaped profoundly, experiences endured. Welcoming committees greeted enthusiastically, accolades bestowed recognizing bravery displayed heroically, adversity faced unwavering. Media coverage extensive documented saga survival inspiring millions worldwide, acknowledging feats accomplished, remarkable context, dangers confronted unparalleled. Life resumed semblance normalcy, albeit altered, irrevocably scars physical emotional born proudly reminders, battles fought valiantly won decisively. Careers advanced trajectories, accelerated recognition earned deservedly, contributions invaluable, acknowledged universally. Lectures delivered, universities, conferences globally sharing insights gained, first-hand wisdom imparted, inspiring future explorers venturing unknown realms courageously. Yet amidst accolades, achievements celebrated publicly, privately reflections persisted, pondering deeper meanings derived, journeys undertaken. Questions lingered unanswered, mysteries planet tumultuous, unresolved fully, curiosity peaked, perpetually driving pursuits, further understanding, unlocking secrets, universe vast, incomprehensible. Legacy forged, journey unforgettable, endured, immortalized annals, history commemorating triumph, human spirit indomitable. Monuments erected honoring sacrifices made silently, valor demonstrated, unwavering adversity insurmountable seemingly. Stories retold, generations passing torch, inspiration igniting aspirations, exploratory daring ventures, boldly frontiers uncharted, conquering challenges daunting confidently. Impact, ripple effect, societal, cultural, profound, reshaping perspectives, collectively acknowledging interconnectedness, universal, striving, harmony, coexistence, peaceful. Innovation spurred advancements, technological, scientific breakthroughs achieved, leveraging knowledge gained, first-hand applications, practical, benefiting humanity entirety, progress accelerating exponentially, momentum sustained perpetually. Memories cherished fondly, bonds forged, strengthened immeasurably, friendships lifelong, cultivated, nurtured, thriving environments, supportive, encouraging growth, personal, professional, holistically. Lessons learned, invaluable, guiding principles adhered steadfastly, navigating complexities, existence modern, confronting adversities, resiliently emerging victorious triumphantly. Conclusion drawn, journeys undertaken, transformative nature, undeniable, shaping destinies, irrevocably altering courses, lives forevermore. Challenges faced, adversities overcome, resilience demonstrated, unwavering perseverance, steadfast, inspiring legacies, everlasting, etched hearts, minds, collectively, humanity entirety, united purpose, singular, striving, excellence, achieving greatness, collectively, collaboratively. Invitation, extended audience, viewership, subscribing channel platforms, digital engaging content, compelling narratives, captivating storytelling, immersive experiences, transporting realms, fantastical realities, alternate, exploring possibilities, endless imagination, limitless. Together, embarking adventures, thrilling, discovering wonders, untold marvels, extraordinary, celebrating spirit, exploration, eternal, boundless, horizons, infinite, expanding perpetually. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more thrilling stories of survival, exploration, and the indomitable human spirit. Until next time, keep dreaming big and reaching for the stars.